Everyone find a comfortable seated position. I need to get one more thing here. Get my bolster. We didn't get our supply of kombucha from Elevate Elixirs this week, so we're drinking some commercial stuff here. Health Aid kombucha. Oh, I can't see my head. There we go. But just allow yourself to find a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you today. Some place where your head is riding directly above your shoulders, not forward, not back. You can usually tell from the position of the chin. If you've got this head forward kind of thing, your chin is jutting out. If you're kind of looking up all the time, then your chin is towards the sky. So try to find that place where from the crown of your head all the way down to the pelvic floor is just a single line. And you can do this. This isn't something you have to worry about. This is your body. No one else is doing this to you. Put a finger at the crown of the head and a finger, I'm using the middle fingers, down at the pelvic floor. And not pressing hard, but just that tactile sensation. See if you can feel the connections between your fingers. And not through the arms and through the whole body, but just right up the center of the body. Right? And it's not in the spine, it's in the front of the spine. It's right on the belly side of the spine, right up the middle of the body. It gets closer down here, that center line. It gets closer as the lower back arches forward. That central line, that central channel is a little bit closer. This is the line that we don't want to be going forwards or back or side to side. This is the line that we want to be perpendicular to the forces of gravity of our home, of the earth. So the crown of our head, that straight line through the body, goes right to the center of the earth. So the gravity, the line of gravity is right down the center of the body, but the spine has evolved to support through the curves that straight line while having the body soft and easy. So let's just see if we can find that for a few moments. Allow your face to soften. Allow your eyes to soften. Allow all of this space of the neck to soften. So we're not working to hold the head up. The head is balanced on the shoulders. It's the least amount of engagement that we can possibly find in our body to find a comfortable seat. If your hip joints are below your knees or even on the same level with your knees, then it's really hard to sit this way because your pelvis has to roll a little bit forward. In fact, allow your belly to relax on the inhales. This is the lower point, about 2 inches below the navel. Allow that to become heavy and droop, drop forward in gravity. And you'll notice as that happens, your chest just kind of lifts through here. You can feel like there's a string right from the center of your chest, drawing you up towards the sky. Continuing to relax in the face. And now there's some movements that we do lying on the ground that I'm going to ask you to do in a seated position today. So maybe on an exhale, allow this little point down here, this little khanda is what it's called in Sanskrit, dantian in Chinese. Just allow that to draw in a little bit. Allow the pelvis to roll backwards. So you're feeling the sensation that the lower ribs are coming closer to the pubic bone. And then on the inhale, allow this point to relax and expand. You can feel the whole pelvis rock just a little bit forward and start to tune into this movement of your breath. Belly to relax on the inhale. This is really an important thing. We hold a lot of tension in our belly, and that means the tension in the back has to balance the tension in the belly. And this is where we get into problem. It's about relaxing the belly. Posture is a social construct. We believe that posture has some kind of significance socially. Right? I mean, we really kind of judge people by the way they hold their bodies, and everybody is different. Everybody is different. I should bring some bones and stuff in to show you pictures of bones, and you can show just how different people's are, especially in the pelvis. So this is where we have to allow ourselves, from personal first-hand experience, to find this place where we can relax in a seated position. Sthira Sukham Asana. This is in the Yoga Sutra, and that's the only thing that it really says about a seat. Asana only means a seated position. 2,000 years ago, it didn't have anything to do with anything else, any other kind of shapes of the body. It was all seated positions, meditation seats. You want to find that balance. It's all about the balance between ease, sukha, and I don't want to call it tension, right? But our ability to stay awake, sthira. Okay? And in a practice like this, we want sukha to win. It's more about the ease. In everything we do in the class, we want to be easy. We want to be lazy. We want to allow ourselves to goof off, to goof up. The only way our body learns how to move effectively, efficiently, and easily is through making mistakes, is through moving in ways that are not efficient, in ways that are not easy for our body. And we inculcate ourselves with that movement throughout our lives, and we never investigate it. We never ask, is this how I want my body to feel? It has nothing to do with how it looks like. It's just a social construct, posture. Every society has a different idea of what a good posture is, and none of them are right. Any kind of posture that you can name is right for someone, but not right for a lot more people than it's right for. It's just the way the human body is. So we're looking for this balance. Yoga means balance in many ways. In many ways, it's this balance between ready to go and ready to go to sleep. We want to be drifting somewhere in that place where our body can find ease. Right? These mistakes and movements, forgive ourselves. There's no right way to move. There's no wrong way to move. There's only the way that's easy for us to move, and ways that are difficult. We never want to associate any type of pain or anxiety or even discomfort with movement. We are movers. The human body is designed to move, and it's designed to learn and to interact with the rest of the universe through that movement. We're not a tree. We're not a daffodil. We are mammals. We learn through movement. We find awareness through movement. So we don't want our movement to be a distraction. We want it to be just something that's easy that we can run through life with. Okay, so continue to breathe. Inhale, let the belly soften. You can say hum to yourself. You can see my belly's coming out. I'm not worried about looking too fat here. Exhale, you let it relax. It's not really a pull-in. You can feel a toning deep in your pelvis, but you can almost feel yourself relax. Inhale, the front of the body gets longer. The space between the pubic bone and the collarbone becomes greater. It's like a bow and arrow bow. The front of the bow, this way. The back of the bow is curving in. But then when we exhale, we just allow everything to drop down, which ends up with a little bit of rotation of the pelvis backwards. So we're going to do this in just a minute lying on the ground, but I wanted you to feel it sitting in a gravitational field where we're actually working to find the ease in our bodies. now, let's go ahead and whatever you're sitting on, let's move that out of the way and come to lie on our backs for a moment and give ourselves a few minutes lying on the back. Just a few minutes. It takes a good couple of minutes for the human body to realize that it's fully out of the gravitational field, and your body then can begin to let go. And that's what we're looking for. Continue to find ease in your face and your jaw. Allow your jaw to move a little bit from side to side, just slowly and easily. Just a little bit, open your mouth just a little bit, free up the mandibular joints here, the temporal mandibular joint, just free that up a little. Allow the jaw to gently go from side to side. Not far. Allowing yourself to relax more and more as you're doing this. And now open your eyes. Continue to move the jaw. And as your jaw moves slightly to the right, you can actually do this. You can put a finger on your chin and move the jaw a little bit to the right. And allow your eyes to move to the left. And then back to neutral, everything's forward. And then your jaw a little bit to the left, and your eyes to the right. Slowly and easily, back and forth, just several times. Just while we're allowing our body to settle in and find a neutral. And then you can allow your jaws and your eyes to move in the same direction. As you're moving your jaws and your eyes, see if you can feel how that movement propagates through your body. And everyone will feel this differently. The more we practice like this, the more we feel. And I can feel the jaws. I move from side to side, coming down the neck, down into the shoulders, behind the shoulder blades, and all the way down into my lower back. The jaw. This mobility, this movement that we have is only to move this jaw from one food source to another food source. Follow the jaw. Slow and easy. This is the place where we hold, probably most people, the most tension in their body. Gritting your teeth, holding your breath. Really putting a lot of desire and angst in everything we do. Well, we want to let all that go in this class. Let all of that go. No one's watching you anyway here. Allow your body to ease into the surface. Just notice how it feels to be you in this moment, in this place. And that's a wonderful meditation to do throughout the day. Just ask yourself occasionally, how does it feel to be me now? And how is this different than it felt the last time I asked myself that question? And now slowly begin to bring your knees to standing. Now when we're sitting in space, if we haven't really challenged our spatial aptitude in many years, then sometimes it's hard to find which direction is up with our spine. We're not always sure. We might have just a little imbalance somewhere and we're not sure where up is. I know I found myself in that case quite a bit, but when we're lying on the floor, we can feel the contact against a surface. And this is the beauty of this type of practice, is we can get this instant biofeedback from the earth, letting us know, helping us answer the question, how does it feel to be me in this moment? So we do this a lot. This is called an arch and flatten. I don't think I've given it a name for you guys before, but it's just what it sounds like. Arch. Inhale to this point 2 inches beneath the navel, and allow the belly to lift towards the sky. and you're going to find an arch in your back. Don't worry about your feet. Don't worry about anything else. Just feel the arch on the inhale, and on the exhale, just let it go. Press into the feet or lift the feet. Inhale. Arch the back a little bit. Exhale back down. And just let the gravity pull it down. Let the feet find a comfortable place for the feet. Inhale. Feel the back arch. Feel the whole front of the body get longer. The back of the body getting shorter. Right? The pubic bone is moving away from the collarbone over an arch. Back in the back, right, the sacrum is getting closer to my neck, the back of my neck, as we get that arch forming. And slowly down. Don't do what I did where I just held myself up for a while I was talking. Let the breath leave. And exhale down. And now we're going to do a little modification on this. Interlace the fingers the way we do, and just allow those to easily come behind the head. And this is going to be called an arch and a curl. So we're going to up this a little bit, and this is not in any way to be confused with some kind of exercise where you're trying to develop a muscle strength or whatever people do that stuff for. So we're going to arch on an inhale. And notice how this feels different with your hands under your head. It feels like you're actually feeling a stretch in the back a little bit. Exhale, slowly lower it down. Now let's do this one or two times, just with the hands behind, and notice the difference. This is how we learn, by observing the differences, making many different variations on a movement. Every time we do it, we want to make it a little bit different. We want to pay close attention to how it feels. And then we learn. So the next time, after an inhale, we begin to exhale. As the back begins to flatten, just move the elbows towards the sky and lift the head a little bit. Just as flattening onto the earth. Feel the lower ribs soften and move towards the pubic bone. Very often what happens, then slowly release back down on the inhale. Allow the belly to expand and the back to arch slowly down. Bringing the elbows towards each other and lifting the head just a little bit as the ribs soften. This is a lot of times people try to keep their ribs up and lift their head. Just try that for a minute. Try to lift the head on the arch. Can you really feel how contorted your body has to become to lift and how much stress there is in the spine? Whereas if we allow the back to flatten on the floor and allow the ribs to soften and soften and move towards the pelvis and the chin in towards the collarbone, we don't really have to use the arms. Several more times. The arch and curl. Arch on the inhale, the exhale, slowly release down. Elbows coming together, ribs softening. Back is flat on the earth. Right? So collarbones coming closer to the pubic bone. Inhale. Allow the belly to expand. The sacrum's coming closer to the back of the neck. Okay, go ahead and release from that for just a moment. Allow your knees to come together. And relax. This lifting our head, even just lifting our head, actually just leave your hands at the side of the body. This is not what I planned on doing at all today, but allow your jaw to relax. And slowly lift your head as easily as you can. Just your head. And back down. And we're not lifting far. We're organizing to lift,
That's the first thing. And then the head lifts just a little bit. I'm up maybe an inch or so. And then slowly allow it to come back down. Notice how my chin's coming towards my collar. So I'm using these really big muscles down here to lift my head by drawing the chin down this way. And then my ribs can soften and I can come up a little bit further with the shoulders back down. Okay, so the arms at the side of the body. Now just lift the head a few times, just noticing how heavy your head is. Do that on an exhale. An exhale helps the ribs to flatten, and the ribs naturally want to come a little bit lower. And inhale to come back down. You're not really going to arch now. Exhale. And make sure we're taking a break between movements. So I inhale back down, I take a little break, there's a little breath in there, and then when my next exhale comes along, I try it again. And I didn't curl my chin down that time, and it really became stressful on the side of my neck. I could really feel myself wanting to grit my teeth. Just moving, and you can even lead with your tongue. You can use your tongue and your chin. Your tongue is pushing the teeth and the chin forward. Back is relaxed. All the engagement is between the lower ribs and the pubic bone, and then there's a little bit of engagement in these sternocleidomastoid muscles right here. Just a little bit of energy there and back down. Extend your legs long. And just scan through your body easily. Now let's bring the knees back to standing one more time. And let's try just a little bit of this. Let's reach up over our head with the left arm. Now if your arm isn't comfortable up there, you can just want to have the hand more or less above the head. So you can be in goal post arms like this, if that feels good, but whatever it is. And begin to slowly press into the right foot on an exhale. Just roll the pelvis a little bit towards the left like we do and back down. Exhale and roll. And just start to reach towards the other hand with your right hand. Just a little bit, rolling a little bit onto the side, feeling the left side of your body make contact with the earth. And back. Try this on an exhale a few times. And now let's try this. Let's try inhaling into the belly. And then rolling. And then back. One more time. Inhale into the belly. Blow it up as you're rolling. And see if that helps the roll for you or whether it hinders the roll. What we're doing here is we're softening the belly as we blow it out. The belly has to soften. The back is engaging. And then as we roll over to our side, we naturally roll onto the whole side of the body. Notice if we're flat to the ground, we have to use our back muscles to roll ourselves over. Okay, we can do it. We can exhale and roll over, but we're actually using the back muscles. When we inhale, like this, softening the belly, just a little bit of movement to the pelvis and the deep pelvis muscles is all we need to roll, and the whole left side of the body can maintain contact on the floor and back. Let's do that a couple times in the other direction. Bring the right arm up. Actually, take a little break first. Just notice if maybe the left side of your body isn't a little bit closer to the earth, and it might not be. Everyone's going to be different. But over time, as we become more aware, we allow ourselves to soften into the earth. We'll start to notice that the more relaxed we can be, the easier it is for us to move. So, once again, we're going to begin to press into the left foot. And this time, just do the inhale. Just a little bit, just to roll the pelvis and reach the left arm up to the right. My left knee is still pointing towards the sky, and I'm allowing my right knee to roll a little bit towards the sky. And back over, back to that neutral position on the back. Inhale, belly blowing up. Back arching just a little bit. Left knee towards the sky. The right knee is moving into the roll. So this is that bow, right? It's like someone standing behind me drawing my body into a bow. This is sticking out, leaving me comfortable on the earth's surface. And a nice little arch in the back, which then I exhale out of and come flat on the earth again. And back. And extend both legs long, arms to the side of the body. And feel into this. Okay, now I'm going to have us try one other thing before we move on. So we're going to leave the left leg long and bend the right leg. Bring the right leg to standing, left arm up above once again. And now let's go ahead and find ourselves comfortable on the side. So maybe on an inhale, begin to roll over to the left, just somewhere where we're comfortable. I've got my left ear on my left arm, and I'm going to have my right hand extended long up towards the left hand somewhere. And I'm going to breathe naturally and easily here. I'm going to try to find ease in my body as I breathe. And now what I'm going to ask you to do is next time you inhale, draw your navel in and allow the chest to expand and not the belly on an inhale. Soften into the ribs. Belly's not really tight, it's just toned a little bit to keep it from expanding. Doesn't take much. And then slowly exhale, but press the air into your pelvis first, blow your belly up, and then exhale from there. So the navel starts to come in and draw up along the spine. So let's do that one more time. Inhale as the belly draws in, the chest expands. Relax into your arms, wherever it is to be relaxed. Exhale, push the breath into the pelvis as the exhaust comes up from the pelvis. One more time. Really become aware of the movement of your ribs and your spine as you do this. Relax. And then blow the belly out. And exhale. And now we're going to do that. We're going to inhale. We're going to hold the inhale. We're not going to exhale. We're going to press the breath into the belly without exhaling, and then draw it back up into the ribs, down into the belly, back up into the ribs. Soft and easy. It's like we're walking along our spine. Notice the difference between the ribs on the floor and the ribs in the air. And then exhale. Don't hold it till you pass out or anything. Don't. Maybe once or twice, then roll back onto your back. Extend your legs, arms long. And now leave the right leg long, bend the left leg towards the sky. Right arm up above the head somehow, wherever that is. So once again, on an inhale, begin to roll onto your right side. On the inhale, blowing the belly out. Then exhale. Just inhale, exhale a couple times. Really relaxed here, wherever that is for you. Trying to allow the whole right side of your body to soften into the earth. The left knee is more or less towards the sky. The right leg is comfortable. This is really, when we start to hold tension in the bottom leg, that's when the back really has to do work. So become aware that you can ease up in your right pelvis. It's not doing anything, it's just laying there. You do any work with that at all. So now the next time an inhale comes around, allow your navel to draw in and blow up the ribs. I did it really fast so you could see it. Do it slow. And then blow your belly up. Let it come out. But don't put a lot of energy into that. We don't want to feel the back arch too much. We don't want to lift the side off the ground. We want to stay comfortably on the ground. A couple more times like that. So inhale, drawing the belly in. Exhale, push the belly out, energy down, and exhale. This is sometimes called a seesaw breath, paradoxical breath. One more time. And now the next time, hold the inhale and just move it into the belly, back into the ribs, into the belly, back into the ribs. Whenever you're ready to quit, go ahead, but relax the whole time. And then roll onto your back. Now let's slowly make our way back into a seated position. I'm going to press into my left foot after I bring the knee up. Just roll on over to my side. Maybe coming on up to seated like we do, like we've worked on the last couple times. Although I don't think Andrew or Brooke has had that opportunity. So let's find a seat. Let's find a seat and do a little pranayama now. Okay, after I hope that feels good for you. I hope you didn't try to overexert yourself when you're doing this. This is one of the problems with the paradoxical breathing. You want it to be soft and easy. You don't want to twerk anything around with your breath, and it can happen. You can hurt yourself by breathing, believe it or not. Just find that ease. Once again, sit up. We're going to do a little bit of kapālabhāti breath like we did last time. Kapālabhāti means skull shining. So there's so much energy coming up from down here that we can feel it shining the inside of the skull. Okay, now the point here is not to keep engaged. The point is let that belly expand out. Find that upright position. Find that comfort in your body. You can do this in a chair. If sitting in the floor isn't working for you, sit in a chair. You know, there's no pride in sitting on the floor. Okay, so what we want to do is feel the belly expand and feel the chest expand too. Allow everything to expand. Begin with the sides of the ribs expanding outward. Notice how that lifts the ribs up off the pelvis. Allow the back and the belly to be long. The pelvis pushes down. We're expanding in all directions. So we're full of breath now. Now let about half of it out through the nose. And now draw this point down here, 2 inches beneath the navel, in sharply and hard so that we exhale. And now we're small. And now we relax. Let that belly out, the breath is going to come in. You'd have to hold it out. And then draw this in again. So the energy goes back and up. We want to feel this go up the spine, just like that paradoxical breathing, but we're going in one direction. The inhale is complete relaxation. The exhale is just a little bit forced from the center of the pelvis towards the spine. We're going to do this for 2 minutes. So once again, take that full breath first. Belly expand, chest expand, shoulders become wider. Let about half of it out, and then we'll begin. Slow.
Relax your jaw. Relax your face. Relax your back. And relax. Keep seated. This is a wonderful daily ritual, kapālabhāti breath. Brings your awareness to the physical center of the body, the center of gravity right here. And this is the part of the body that we move around to get the jaw to someplace. This is the place we move from right here. This is where we want to be able to sense our physical presence. And it's from this lower dantian. Okay, there's three. There's three of these bindus in the body, the lower, the middle, the heart space, and then somewhere in the middle of the head. That's really kind of, all traditions are here. The head one's a little bit different in every place. And it's these 3 points in the center of the body that we want to align. The lower point is the center of our physical body. This is the center of our heart mind. In the Indian culture, emotions, well, in every culture, emotions affect thoughts and thoughts affect emotions. Why separate them? So this is the center of the mind body, the emotion body. And then up here is the center of the spiritual body. Okay, that's we want to have all of those aligned. That's what life is, aligning those three so that we can become one. Continue to allow that belly to expand on the inhale. This is something to just notice what you're doing with your belly when you're just sitting around. Are you holding tension down here? It leads to back problems. It's the major cause of back problems, I think, is holding the belly too tight. And then the back has to work a lot harder to overcome that. And this is why people who do like weightlifting and stuff really aren't that strong. The people with the biggest muscles. I mean, you can lift weights for strength, but the people with the biggest muscles are not really that strong because they've developed an imbalance, right? They've developed an imbalance. So if they want to move like this, their biceps are so strong, they're engaged all the time that their triceps have to work like hell just to straighten the arm out. This is why they can't even brush your, some of those guys can't even like comb their hair and stuff. So we don't want to find ourselves like, or maybe you do, but it makes that movement part of living that much more difficult. Okay, so last time we learned, well, the last 2 times we were doing a little bit of rolling into a seated position. And why don't we come to that seated position to begin? So I'm going to ask you to bring your left leg in front of you and your right leg kind of behind you. So the left foot is near the right knee. This is called deer pose or stag pose. Okay, and this is a relatively comfortable seated position for most people. If it's not for you, then vary it to where it is comfortable. There's a lot of different things you can do. If this leg is really uncomfortable back there, you can bring this one out. You can also go ahead and support this up, or you can sit cross-legged, or you can sit legs wide. This is just a seated, little bit of movement that we're going to do. And this is a little spiraling movement. Spiraling is a big part of yoga, and this is a nice somatic spiral here. I call it Kundalini. Different people call it different things. I kind of like to call it Kundalini because Kundalini is serpent. Right? It can be considered serpent's coil and uncoil, and that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to coil and uncoil. So let's bring our left hand somewhere off to the side and on the floor. We can lean into that a little bit if we like. Allow our body to lean into that. Feel the energy from the earth come into the hand. Help support the body. Allow our body to be as relaxed as we can. Maybe one pelvis is up. I don't know which one. Something can be up. You might not be comfortable on the floor. You can put a little blanket or something under whichever pelvis is raised so we can support ourselves. We want to make contact with the earth in this class because the earth, we were seated doing those same arch and flattens, and notice how much different it was when we came to the floor. When we're seated, we don't know where vertical is. When we're on the floor, we know exactly how to get our body flat on the floor. Right? We know what flatness is. Right? We know how our body elongates when we're lying out of the gravitational field, and that's part of this practice is to have that felt sense constantly of whether we're upright, whether we're aligned through those 3 points, or whether we're doing something else. Right? So this is what we're trying to find, is this alignment as they move with respect to each other. So first movement here, we're going to bring the right hand to the left shoulder. Just find a left place. It could be up here around the neck. It doesn't really have to be on the shoulder, but I'm just going to bring it to the shoulder here. And I'm going to ask you this time on an exhale to slowly twist around. And just go until you start to feel the ease of the movement to become a little rusty, right? A little ratty. And then slowly unwind. Try to unwind the same way you went out so that the arm is in the same place. Do that several times. Keep your eyes open and track the movement with your eyes. So I'm just watching the wall. I'm trying to keep my chin from going up or down. I'm just creating a little bit of a twist. So my pelvis is pretty well constrained to stay. There's a little bit of twist in it, but the shoulders are going to move with respect to the pelvis. Right? So I'm freezing the pelvis more or less, and I'm getting a little twist in the spine from the shoulders and the head. Allow the head to turn, but not much more than the shoulders. We don't want to feel any stress or strain, and slowly unwind. And if you happen to pay attention to how far that you got around the first time, you might want to remember that and see if we find any more than that. Okay, so now we're going to bring our hand here. That's when we had the shoulder here. The elbow was out. And I didn't really tell you this, but the elbow, it's almost hard not to keep the elbow level or parallel to the ground as we move. That keeps the head and the shoulders level, all this does. And it creates that length as we twist. There are many twists that people do in yoga classes, and if you don't know where up is, if you don't know where that center line in your body is, you're going to be twisting some things that don't need to be twisting. This is finding that center. You can push a little bit into the right knee, relax into the whole outer edge of the left and around. But now I'm going to ask you to bring your hand. There's different ways to do this. I like to just bring the back of my hand under the chin. And now I want to try to keep the chin level. Right? So I'm not doing this kind of stuff as I'm moving. So exhale once again. Bring that left hand to wherever it feels right to you. Never forcing, never stretching. As soon as you reach the place where you stop, right, without using energy, wherever you can easily get to, that's as far as you want to go. But notice that that's going to increase as we continue along with this. And one more time, slowly. Try it on an inhale the next time you do it. I've been having you do it on an exhale. Try it on an inhale. How does that feel? Lead with your belly. And back around. We're not putting a hell of a lot of weight on that left hand, but we're putting some on that left hand. Okay. Go ahead and release for a moment. You can stretch your legs out if you like. Maybe bounce them up and down. Just kind of bounce the knees up and down. Maybe let the feet just kind of flop around a little bit. Trying to maintain that upright position. And let's come back into that same place. Okay, deer pose or stag pose. Okay, so now we're going to try something a little bit different. Bring that hand behind us. Bring the hand under the chin. Make sure the eyes are, well, we should have had the eyes open. So now, as we begin to twist to the left, allow the eyes to start to track to the right. So my body, my shoulders are going to the left, but my eyes are looking the other way. I'm still trying to keep the head level. This is when you really need the hand there. And then as you come back around, move the eyes to the left as the body straightens out. You can see I'm looking that way now. And actually my right eye is trying to look to the left. And when I'm going to the right, my right eye is trying to look to the left when I'm turning this way. When I go the other way, my left eye is trying to look towards the right. It's trying to find the space to the right, keeping this chin nice and level. So we're moving the eyes different than the rest of the body. Right? In the human venture to move from the center, the chin, the jaw, to eat, we have a lot of issues we have to overcome. Go ahead and take a break here for just a minute. And let's try that again. Except now we'll let the eyes once again go and see if this doesn't feel a little bit easier now. Inhale. Maybe you might even find that you can go. Well, I got about 20 more degrees just from having my eyes move opposite of the rest of my body. And that's one of those things is we're walking through the savannah, looking, foraging, hunting, whatever we're doing. We really want to be able to move our eyes independently of the rest of the body. We want to be able to be moving to the left and look to the right. This is something that's very, very deep in who we are. And this ability of awareness. So let's try this a little bit different now. Okay, what we're going to try now is as I'm twisting my body to the left, I'm going to turn my head to the right and my eyes to the left. And then undo. See, my face is all contorted. Over time, though, when you do this stuff, I haven't done this one in a while. So my eyes and my shoulders are going to the left and my head is going to the right. And then back to neutral. Just try that several times. It's going to feel awkward as hell, but the more you do this, the more coordinated your body will become. And go ahead and relax. Just a minute. Let's give yourself a little break. Find that seat. You can do a little kapālabhāti if you want to. It's an interesting to come into an asymmetric pelvis position and do kapālabhāti. It's almost like doing a paradoxical kind of breathing. And we can do paradoxical breathing here, but not today. So once again, let's just turn everything in the same direction. Easy as we can. I got another 20 degrees or so of rotation out of that now. And I hope you're feeling that same kind of improvement. Oh my goodness. It's kind of bizarre. Now, remember what we did last time? So now we're not going to worry about the chin anymore. What we're going to worry about now is we're going to move that left arm around and the right arm around and maybe begin to lay the side of the body down. And then we're going to look towards the sky as we come back up. Right, so we're going to rotate our body around to the left, hands on the floor, feet more or less where they are. Let them relax. If they lift, whatever's happening. And then back around. Slowly as we can, integrating this movement. Once again, inhale. And then just allow your pelvis to come to neutral once again. So last week, this is kind of where we ended up, right? We would allow our legs to begin to move to the left. Bring that right leg way back. Follow with our eyes until we were back in that seated position. I'm having a hard time staying over. So let's just do several of these. Last time we only worked coming from on the belly with the knees bent to this position. Let's work on this a little bit and then back up, of course. Using as little energy as we can and using the fact that the body wants to go where the eyes are going. Look, allow the head to turn, the shoulders to turn just like we were doing, and back around. It's about getting that right leg up to counter balance this move. Next time you're on your belly, just stay on your belly, just stack your hands, put your forehead on the stacked hands, tuck your toes under. And like you're walking, press the right heel away from your body. Right side is getting longer, left side is getting shorter. And then press the left heel away, allowing the whole left side of the body to elongate and the right side to soften. And just go back and forth. So this is like walking almost. But once again, we have found a place where we know where up and down are. Up and down are always with respect to our body. Up is always above the head, right? Going from the feet to above the head, and down is always going from above the head to below the feet. Whether we're lying or sitting or whatever we're doing, up and down in somatics is with respect to the body. And then allow your body, as you're pressing the left heel away, I'm rolling a little bit onto the right and a little bit onto the left. Feeling the interaction of the earth with my lower ribs. Feeling the lower ribs soften. Then bend the knees once again. Bring the hands into kind of a push-up position. Go ahead and allow the legs to start to move to the left. Allow that right knee to pick up and come back into that seated position. 7:38. I really don't know how this happened. We only did one side. I have not even done with this side. So I texted Joan about doing this, like three classes for one price kind of thing. And I don't know what's going on there. She's can't figure out how to use her software or something is what she's telling me. So I'll probably do it anyway. So we'll have a morning class Wednesday morning. I think starting this maybe next week or the week after for 10 weeks. Wednesday morning at 6:30, this one, and then a Sunday night class around 9 o'clock for bedtime somatics. So let's come the other way now. All right, so let's bring our stag pose in the opposite direction. Okay, so now I have my right leg more or less in front of me and my left leg behind me, facing back. This is a beautiful position. We've got an external rotation on the right leg, and we've got an internal rotation on the left. It's just really a nice, different kind of place to sit. This is much more challenging for me to sit this way than the other way, and you might find it's easier or more difficult. And find your breath. Find that nice big full inhale and exhale. On the next inhale, bring that right hand behind you and just start a little twist here. Maybe pay attention this time. Just notice how far. Pick a point on the wall behind you and just notice you can easily get to that point. And I'm not trying to stretch. I'm not trying to tweak my body that way. Force my body into something. And then back. Let's just do a couple of these really easy ones. Left hand, that's what I did. Left hand on the right shoulder. And around. just a few times. You might notice each time brings you a little bit more mobility. Try changing it up every time. Right? So if you were exhaling or inhaling as you're moving, do the opposite breath. Try pressing a little bit more into the left knee than you were, or maybe a little bit less. There's a lot of different things that we can vary. The yoga world likes modifications. Right? The modern yoga world likes the word modifications, like there's a right way to do it, and anything else has to be modified because you're not good enough. That's not the way the world lives. That's not the way the world works with human bodies. They're all different. Right? So I prefer variations. Right? Since there's an infinite number of variations of human bodies, there has to be an infinite number of variations in the way we move those infinite number of variations. So this is where it becomes somatic. So now, let's go ahead and bring that hand underneath the chin. Right hand behind you. Trying to stay level. Tracking with the eyes. Right? We're tracking with the eyes. Watch the wall go by, or whatever you're looking at. This is much better by the beach, or in the woods or something. But just a few times. You can start, I really feel a lot of engagement in my left pelvis and hip. I feel that tightening up before anything else does, which means that's what my problem is. So I'm going to breathe into that. I'm going to breathe into that belly, really get it coming out. And that helps me to move a little bit more in this direction. And then exhale back. One more time. We didn't do any pandiculation again this week. God, that happened. Okay, so now we will do that same movement, but we're going to start looking in the opposite direction. So as I'm moving my shoulders and my head to the right, my eyes are moving to the left. My right eye is trying to look as far left as it can. And then my left eye is going to start looking right as I come back around. And we want these to be timed, right? So that the eyes are moving at the same speed as the rest of the body. That's the hard part. Just feel that rotation in the pelvis, the hip joints, both on the right side. Your body's moving over that right hip joint. The left hip joint is extending. And we come back, we're starting to get a little flex in this hip joint. This one's extending just a very little bit. Okay, now allow the eyes to follow. Once again. All right, so now comes the real challenge. This one's really, really challenging for me. We are going to allow our body to move to the right, our eyes to move to the right, and the head is moving to the left. Let's just first of all take a couple with the eyes going in the same direction. Let's just see how that feels for us now. Oh yeah, I picked up a lot. Not as much as the other side, but I've really got a lot more twist. Without straining my body, without tweaking my body, without creating situations where I will get in trouble later on. All right, so now we're going to move the shoulders and the eyes to the right as the head moves to the left. And then the head moves to the right as everything else moves to the left. And if that's too much, just do it with your eyes still. And then go ahead and take a break from that. Let's extend our legs out if we've been sitting there for quite a while now. Go ahead and bounce the knees a little bit. Just bounce, just feel that bounce. Allow the feet to rotate away from each other and towards each other softly and easily. We're feeling for smoothness, for easiness and steadiness. We're not looking for big movement. We're looking for smooth and comfortable movement. So let's come on back into that position. And I've got a dog in my way here, so we'll see how this works out. So let's just go ahead and start the turn. Bring that right arm down, the left hand down, and find this place on our side.
Hey, girlie, how you doing?
And then slowly back around. I think she's doing it too. Look, she's doing it too. She's a somatic dog. Just softly and easily. Trying to use as little effort as we can to bring ourselves down towards the floor and back off the floor. And then the next time, maybe we can even allow the pelvis to unwind. Extend the legs. Bring the forehead onto the stacked hands. And this time press both heels back and draw both heels forward. Okay, so we can feel and try to relax into your chest. I'm really bringing my hands out in front of me so I can get as high into my chest as I can. Feeling that interaction with the earth. Allowing my pelvis to be heavy. Feeling the pubic bone on the ground. And maybe even can find that perfect resonance, putting as little energy into your feet as you can, but getting this continuous rocking movement, continuous oscillating movement. And go ahead and stop and just give yourself a moment on your belly. Go ahead and bend the knees. Bring the knees a little bit apart so that as we bring the hands under the shoulders or maybe even down by the lower ribs, wherever it works for us, and we start to roll the feet to the right and lift the left leg up and rotate into our seated position. Just continue to do that several times. Trying to each time a little bit less energy into this. All right, at some point in time, we'll actually be able to go without using our hands. But for now, and it's all about moving the body, allowing the body to be soft on the floor, and also be able to rock like a rocking chair on the floor. So we're not lifting and laying ourselves back down. We're allowing our body to completely melt every time we go down and roll. Okay, next time we're up, let's just stay here for a few moments. Now we're going to try this movement here. This is a pandiculation. We've been doing pandiculations all along, but I haven't expressly called them that. Pandiculation focuses on allowing a muscle group to engage and then allowing it to disengage slowly under load. So the muscles have to lengthen under load. Okay, so in a position like this is one of my favorite ones, so I wanted to come here. I'm going to put my right hand on the right knee. I'm just going to barely lift the right knee right now. Lift it up maybe 3 or 4 inches. And then I'm going to allow the weight of my hand to come into the knee. I'm going to press the hand into the knee, just slightly, not a lot, in the knee into the hand. And then I'm going to allow the hand to win. So all of this stuff, right? All of these hip flexors, internal rotators and everything are under load and getting longer. Once again, bring that knee up. The weight on it. So these muscles in here, the groin muscles, the hip flexors, things that lift the leg up, and these internal rotators, thing that turns the thighs inward, are lengthening. I like to inhale into this. I like to inhale so that those muscles are softening from the breath as they're extending. This is just one type of movement we can do from here. You can support yourself with a hand if you want to do that. And now let's move to the other side. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult for me, for sure. So I'm going to support myself with my right hand. I'm going to bring a little bit more weight into the right cheek, right? So I can support myself. And I'm slowly going to lift the left knee. Wherever it goes, easily, I'm going to bring my left hand there. I'm going to put a little bit of oomph into it. It doesn't have to be at the end. It can be anywhere. And it's not a lot. It's like a pound or two of pressure, just so that the muscles are still engaged as they're releasing and becoming longer under load. This is how we can release that ratchet mechanism in the muscles. In fact, they might feel like ratchety to you. Mine do. As I'm doing this, you feel this kind of chattering or stuttering in the muscles as you try to relax. And those places that are stuttering, you want to move past quick. Slow down even more. This is the place where we have kinesthetic amnesia. The brain and the muscles aren't connected anymore. They're not talking to each other. So the brain doesn't know what to do there, so it just stutters past it. But over time, these types of pandiculations will help with that. Let yourself completely relax. So once again, I'm inhaling as I do the pandiculation. So I'm lifting on an exhale, inhaling into this space. Allowing this whole body to be lengthening here. And there's several more pandiculations we can do from here, but we don't have that much time left. So let's move to the other side. We might not even get to any yinny kind of stuff tonight. All right, so we'll start with the left. Okay, you can bring a support. You can bring your left hand down. You can go this way, or you can do it like we did. You can do it however it works for you. Okay, and I'm allowing this left foot to be relaxed. The whole outer edge of the left foot is kind of my rotation point here. So on an exhale, I'm going to use the power of the exhale to draw the knee up. Put a little bit of weight on it. On the inhale, and breathe into lengthening. So we're working on the left leg in an external rotation now. We worked on the left leg the other way on an internal rotation like we'll be doing on the right leg. So we have the external rotation. We're working on these hip flexors and these internal rotators. So to turn the thigh that way. Slow. Breathe into it. Allow that whole side of the body to lengthen. A couple more times maybe. I haven't done this in a while. I haven't done these kind of pandiculations in a while. I forgot how good they are. Okay, let that go. Just relax for a minute. You can extend your legs if you're getting a little uncomfortable there. Bounce the knees. Flop the feet a little bit, whatever feels right for you. And let's come back in and get the pandiculation on the right. So I'm going to lean into my left hand a little bit here. Bring the right hand to the knee. And I'm going to use the inner edge of the left foot as the pivot point to lift and put down. So just find a place where you're comfortable here and slowly on an exhale. Try to use the exhale, so drawing everything up to draw the knee up. Put a little bit of weight on there and inhale into the right pelvis. Try to keep everything else relaxed. I noticed as I was doing that, I was engaging into the left side of my body, trying to push away from the earth. Gotta let that go. It's also a nice thing about the inhale. Helps to push you into the earth when you're breathing into the pelvis. Well, I need to do more of these. Just a little bit. You don't need a lot. It's like everything else in somatics, less is almost always more. When you start engaging muscles, when you start actually making them work, then everything around them is going to start working. That's the problem. We're trying to isolate and differentiate different types of related movements in somatics. Not as kind of a scholarly exercise, but as a deep anatomical learning experience without turning it into a story or words. All right, go ahead and release that leg, and let's come to a seated position. We're not even going to do We're not going to do a shavasana or anything. Let's just do a little bit of loka before we leave. How's everybody doing out there? All right. Sound good? Does the sound okay? This is something we're really worried about. Put a lot of effort into sound. I was going to put a lot of effort into getting better photography too. I bought a $1,200 camera, which doesn't work. I was going to make this beautiful studio here for yoga, and my camera, nothing works actually. Okay, so you want to do loka? Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Where did I get these glasses from? Wait, loka is C sharp? What?
Well, that was Ganesha.
Oh, is it?
Okay.
Oh, I know what it is. Sorry. What is it? It's this. C minor, G minor. Samasta sukino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukino Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. May all beings exist in peace and freedom. And through my thoughts, my words, and my actions, I acknowledge and honor that peace and freedom. Namaskar.